Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. I'm gonna do a very detailed video about XRP, Ripple. We'll cover all from liquidation levels, news, on-chain data. We're gonna compare XRP with the current performance of Ethereum in a ratio chart as well. You're not gonna find anywhere more in-depth information about XRP, so get ready. Guys, if you wanna trade XRP, one great opportunity of an exchange is Bluffing, which is currently offering even an iPhone 17 as a reward for your trades and your deposit. Of course, you need to use the link in the description if you want to be part of this, and no matter how small is your deposit or how much volume you're planning to trade, you're always gonna get some rewards deposit into your account. Do not forget to open the account with the link in the description. And yeah, XRP hasn't been the exception with the recent move of all coins to the downside, particularly on Binance exchange. It was devastating with this week that went way beyond the limits. So everything about this video is gonna be, can we really form a double bottom formation here? Is there anything sneaky going on from whales accumulating XRP at these levels? And I think the answer is it could be that that is the case. So I want you to come with me into all these charts and see what are the signs that I'm currently finding. In the last 30 days, obviously the accumulation of liquidity is on both ends. We have bounce off from that liquidation, so that reduces the liquidity on the lower end, but since we're moving up and down, we still have something in the close proximity, starting from $2.2 into where we are, which is 2.45. So very balanced of the past 30 days in terms of liquidity. But I really want to focus on what matters the most to me, which is the RSI weekly. And after we saw some strength in here of the breakout of June, we went and we complete a revenge rally against this trend line that was lost before in February. And after that, we haven't managed to recover from that rejection. We even put a lower low, but here is where it matters to pay attention, because this is forming a widening pattern and we are at the bottom of this level. So this is currently weekly support on XRP, an area of value that could get broken, but if it holds, it could promise no longer to do such a move because we lost that level. But maybe if we continue to track this resistance in here, this could be a bullish formation that can put some decent highs. So let's look at the price action and let's not yet think about panic selling XRP. As you can see, the week of the past 2 weeks went very low into 125, but so far for the weekly close, we managed to hold a 2.37. In my previous video, I say that that is what I was aiming to achieve with the past week. Hold 2.4 and we got some hope to look for. We did not come to the $2 mark, in which case we could have formed at Adam and Eve inverse that has a very low target, guys. That target that we covered in the past week is 18 cents. So good thing for XRP to hold 2.4 so we can allow some room for this bullish pattern to start forming bottoming formations in here, or to start already challenging the resistance of weekly RSI 51. When it comes to longs versus shorts, yeah, the damage that was done that week was big. We broke down below in here, which is resembling what happened in 2023 in July, where we broke down and then we ended up going into bear market levels of longs versus shorts. In here, so far, we are approaching this line in here, which could act as our next support for longs and shorts. Maybe we can have a revenge rally into here. And if we get lucky and we break this trend line, we could continue back again in the area of overexposed longs. That could bring potentially prices higher than 3. Now, with all this devastation, it has been attracting a lot of social media. You can see that this week, we are having a social dominance of 5.8, almost as high as in November in 2024, and definitely higher than anywhere else prior to that. So yeah, XRP is calling a lot of attention. We need to look into the news to understand what really is making all that fuss. Now, let's move from weekly to daily time frame to see what is happening under the carpet. And you can see in here that this week went way beyond my expectations of liquidations, which was just to take the red levels, but we went far beyond. We liquidated everybody into $118, which is crazy. That's way beyond as well the previous low of 1.6, a lot further away. And still, yet, this is a parallel channel on the daily. We have a handle here located at the $2. And if we hold these levels in here, there is an opportunity for this double bottom with a bullish divergence that you can observe in here thanks to the RSI to potentially challenge the 285, at which point we could get a breakout again. First breakout is from the neckline in here located at 26. That has enough power potentially if it breaks out and confirms to hit the top of the range. Once you get into the top of the range, then you look for the length of this, you forecast it into all the way in here, and that is, guys, the one that I care the most, because that could project the price into the liquidation levels, the biggest ones on the upper end, which are located between 339, the first red, and the second red at 3.6. Watch out for those, because after this breakout, I was expecting these levels in here were gonna go straight into that. Luckily, we always in this channel identify where is the risk. We never talk about a target without saying what if it doesn't play out. And definitely the shit hit the fan and we came into the risk and way beyond, I would say. But maybe this time we can get into those levels, challenge the 365 all-time high and go maybe for $4. After all, I have some extensions in here that we still don't fulfill. Now, unfortunately, we need to pull this down now here. So my extension of one has come down to $4 and the golden pocket to 5.9. All of this is adjusting to the recent dump. We could also put this in here, doing a layer 2 breakout and monitoring if this double bottom can break above 50 on the daily. Remember that things can fail, resistance can come in at 50 and push you back down, and then you get a lower double bottom formation. That is part of the current risk. But hey, look at this, below $2.1. What sort of liquidity do you think we have after we already weak into 118? I will say that there is new liquidity, but it can no longer overlap with what we had before. So all in all, there is less than before motivation to go to that end from the point of view of liquidity. Let's look at on-chain data in here, and I can see that there is taker sell dominant on spot. Fair enough, that is a risk, but we have to compensate that with some taker buy dominant on futures. Speculators coming in, the futures bubble, of course, it cooled down a lot thanks to that week down, and the big whale orders are coming in. The average order size on future is currently dominated by whales. That doesn't mean that they're gonna hold for a lot longer because it's not associated with spot, it's futures. So whales are speculating at this point in time, and it's critical for us to understand where are they targeting. So entering at the lows of support with them and then protecting yourself with a stop loss trailing into the neckline of 2.6, then into 2.88, and then holding tight your teeth into the 3.3 and 3.6, and then expecting them at some point them to take some profits, since this is going on without spot dominating well. So it could be short-lived, we don't know up until when. In terms of news for XRP, we have the Ripple Labs annual conference Swell 2025 seen as institutional access catalyst at 8 out of 10, but we also have a bearish one, 3 out of 10. Technical chart warning, XRP forms a death cross on the daily chart despite positive catalysts, and this is because the week down went very low, the close still a little bit low on the 2.4 end on the weekly, and that is bringing down the 50-day moving average, crossing the 200 daily. Sometimes this is just a lagging indicator due to all the period that we've been just pushing lower and lower since 3.4 all the way to 118. And another bullish, and the most bullish of today, is that strategic positioning for XRP, ETFs approvals, and Ripple US National Bank license application highlighted. This represents institutional scale regulatory structural catalysts. A bank license will expand use cases, ETF approvals unlock demand, both point to potential major upside. And I believe that's why the speculators with large positions are already positioned in that double bottom formation, and it's your responsibility now to protect that rally together with futures competing with you. Who racks pull first, you or them? When it comes to XRP against Ethereum, which is something that we need to look into, Ethereum is performing well so far. It has retraced into 3.4 and is trading over $4,000. It's defending the weekly and the monthly breakout. I showed that in my altcoin video. So now we need to see if Ethereum rallies a little bit more. XRP potentially is going to continue to underperform, but just for a little longer, because we can see that the pair XRP Ethereum is right here working hard to produce a double bottom against Ethereum as well. Yeah, we are at 36. It could go a little bit lower. The Z score shows that that we are on the bottom end. We put an horizontal line and we are pretty much around levels where maybe it's not the actual bottom, but you know, around here there is some upside to be had, or on all this area that is very squashed, it coincides with local bottoms as well. MFI is about to cross 20. MFI is a version of the RSI that considers volume as well, and the last time it was as discounted as below 20 was around this area in here. Now there is a battle in here to reconquer 006. We are from below there, so watch out with that as well. How is XRP positioned relative to the rest of the altcoins at the moment? And I will say it's pretty much mimicking what BTC, Solana, Polkadot, Link, and TRX are currently doing. On the X-axis, we see that the well versus retail delta is on the low end. So relative to other coins, is more towards the retail, which contradicts a little bit what I'm seeing on CryptoQuant, which is very interesting. So maybe this is not updated? No, it's correct. That is what High Block Capital is currently saying today. And on the Y-axis, we see the bid versus ask ratio of 5% deviation of the price. This means that all these coins in here have less support versus resistance in limit orders in the exchange, bid versus ask, and that ratio is on the end. That means that has a lot of resistance, at least relative to all the other coins. So these guys in here have a lot of more support because people are currently trading them. Alts are pumping today and these ones are lagging behind. That is very typical, and it could be just the case of a temporary glitch. In summary, for XRP, this is an area of value both on the daily and on the weekly. We're talking about 2.3, 2.4 area. Some whales are positioning in futures, expecting some potential additional upside. Some news are bringing the social dominance very high, attracting the whales. Possibly some retail is gonna come in together, making the perfect recipe for some upside on XRP. That upside could be just to get to the 2.6 and produce a bull trap in there and then dump below the flag, which is the reason you need to protect your risk. Or we could get into 287 at the resistance of the parallel channel or the extended bull flag, which if it breaks out, it can easily get into the $3 to $4 mark with the 1 Fibonacci extension. Thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know if I missed to cover anything on the XRP video, or if you already find it very balanced information, too much, too little. And also I want to know which other altcoin you want me to do with the rest of the week. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.